A preliminary report into the Air India plane crash that killed 260 people has been released this morning. It reveals both engines on the aircraft cut out seconds after takeoff.
So we've learned that only 3 seconds after the plane got airborne, that the fuel was cut off both to engine number 1 and to engine number 2 of Air India Flight 171, which was leaving from Ahmedabad and flying to London Gatwick. Now, this caused confusion in the cockpit. I'm going to read now from this preliminary report by India's Aircraft Accident Investigations Bureau. It says, the aircraft achieved the maximum recorded airspeed, and immediately thereafter, the engine 1 and engine 2 fuel cut-off switches transitioned from run to cut-off position one after another. The engine N1 and N2 began to decrease from their takeoff values as the fuel supplies to the engines was cut off. In the cockpit voice recording, one of the pilots is heard asking the other, "Why did he cut off?" The other pilot responded that he did not do so. Now, what this report does not show is whether this was pilot error, so a pilot erroneously flicking a switch to cut the fuel to the engines, whether this was a mechanical issue, or indeed whether this is some sort of software issue. And these investigations will now continue to try to get to the bottom of exactly what happened. We know that both of the aircraft voice and data recorders were retrieved, although the one in the tail of the aircraft was severely damaged and they had difficulty downloading some of that data. We also know that the co-pilot was the pilot in charge of the aircraft, so he was flying it while the captain was monitoring the situation. Now, that is not unusual. You'll often see that, so that co-pilots can get the required number of air hours that they need to reach their next level of certification. But clearly the initial part of this investigation is focusing in on why the fuel was cut to these engines, because at a critical time such as takeoff, you obviously want to have as much fuel and as much power as possible to get that thrust and lift off that you need for a plane to take off into the sky. Having the fuel cut off clearly caused the opposite to happen.